So we'll be talking about the principle of inheritance and the variation. This chapter is from, the class 12. So the principle of inheritance and the variation is a topic. Okay, so first of all, if we talk about what is inheritance, the definition of inheritance, we'll look into it. So first of all, inheritance means what is inheritance? Inheritance means it is a science or it is a study of genetics in which the traits or the characters, so these are the traits or the characters which are passed on from the parents to offsprings. So why we look similar to our parents? Why the elephant baby give rise to a baby elephant? Why a mango is giving rise to a baby mango? Okay, so these are due to the inheritance, the traits and the characters that passed on, that passed on from the parents to that of offsprings. So this whole process is called as inheritance. Okay. And what is variation then? Variation means any change from that of parents. So any variation or any change in the offsprings from the parents, this process is called as the variation. So, though we look similar to our parents, though the baby mango is similar to that of its, parent, somehow there is some variation, there is some change which results due to the sexual reproduction. So, this variation is present due to the sexual reproduction because in sexual reproduction, two gametes are involved. So involvement of two gametes results in the variation, results in the variation that is important for the process to be going on. So we are clear with what is inheritance and what is a variation. Okay. Next, if we will talk about that, who gave this laws of inheritance, who talked about the variation, there was a very great scientist then. There was a George Mendel. The name of the scientist was the George Mendel. He gave the concept of inheritance. He gave the concept of inheritance that something is being passed on from the parents to that of offspring. So he was working on many plants for the years, and he saw that the things are very similar to that of their parents. So what is these inheritance? He called them the factors. Nowadays, the factors are known as the genes. So these factors are the unit of inheritance. He observed that these are the factors which are passed on from the parents to offsprings. So he called them the factors as a unit of inheritance. He called them the factors as a unit of inheritance that is being passed from the parent to offsprings. And each factor is going to have its two contrasting traits. So each factor is going to have its two contrasting traits, which is known as allele. So what is the allele? Allele means the two contrasting traits of any, factor that is called as genes. So these are the terms that should be very clear before we proceed further. So first is inheritance. What is inheritance? The traits and characters that pass from parents to offsprings is called as the inheritance. Variation means any change in offsprings from parents. It results from the sexual reproduction because two gametes are involved in that. Next is who was George Mendel? He actually termed the condition that is called inheritance. That means these are the characters that is being passed from the parents to that of offsprings. So that is called as inheritance. And what is the unit of inheritance? This is called as a factors. So next we will move on to the which plant was selected to study this inheritance. So the answer to this is the pea plants. Pea plants were selected by the great scientist, that is a George Mendel. He selected the pea plants to study the laws of inheritance. So, okay, why the very most important question that usually asked in the exam is why pea plants are selected. So, in class 12th board exams, this question is, carries a very great importance. So, because this has been repeatedly asked that why pea plants are selected for study of inheritance. So why the George and Mendel has selected? Because we do have n number of plants. We do have mango, we do have people, we do have rose. So many plants are there. Why this peculiar pea plant was selected? So very important. Listen to it very carefully. First thing is, it is going to have a very short lifespan. So short lifespan, sorry. Short lifespan, that means, this plant can be grown again and again. Next is the true breeding lines can be created. Breeding lines are there. That means there is no blending and there is the possibility of self-pollination as well as there is a possibility of cross-pollination. So self-pollination and cross-pollination can be done with the help of this pea plant and a very short lifespan. Next is it is going to have a seven contrasting characters. So we'll be studying it out because again, the seven contrasting traits is an important question. And usually in the exam, it has been usually asked that what are the seven contrasting traits? Or they can ask you that which one is the dominant and which one is recessive. Okay, so after the seven contrasting trait, it is very, very easy to grow. So very easy to grow and you can get the progeny in just the short period of time. So these are the benefits of growing the pea plant over any other plant. Okay, the next question is what are the seven contrasting traits that was taken up by the Mendel? So first of all, we'll be talking about the character which was taken up by the Mendel. Then we'll talk about which of these characters is a dominant and which of these characters are the recessive. Okay. So first of all, we'll talk about the seed shape. So first character is called as the seed shape. In this, we have round seeds and we have wrinkled seeds. So the dominant is round and recessive is wrinkled. So let me just highlight this. This is a dominant trait and this is a recessive trait. You should learn this by heart because any one of these can be asked. Next is the seed color. In seed color, the yellow is dominant over the green color. So it will be expressed in the F1 progeny. Then is the flower color. In flower color, the violet color is dominant over the white color in case of pea plants. Next is we have pod shape. In pod shape, the full is, dominant over the constricted one. Next is the pod color. In this, the question arises because we have seen in the seed color. In seed color, the yellow is dominant over the green color, but the opposite is true for the pod color. In this, the green is usually dominant over the yellow color. So these are the things that you need to consider. Then is the flower position. Flower position means the flowers are, germinated at the axial position. Axial means, let me draw one example. So terminal means this. At the top of the stem, the plants are growing. And if it is like this, these are the leaves, I will say. These are the leaves and this is the stem. These are the roots. So if this stem, this lateral stem is actually giving rise to these flowers. So these are called as the axial flowers. And the terminal position, which is present at the top, that is called as a terminal part. So the flower color, the axial is dominating over the terminal position. And the last of all is the stem height. So in case of stem height, the tall is dominating over a drop. So these are the seven contrasting traits you should know by heart. And also you should know that which character is dominating over the other. So that is very, very important. We should consider these things in a very great way. I think so these are clear to you and we'll be moving towards the next part. So these was all, taken up by the Mendel, very important experiment, why pea plants are selected for the study of inheritance. These are the four traits and then the seven contrasting traits. Which one is usually the question being asked in the seed color and the pod color? Because these two are the confusing things. In the seed color, the yellow is dominating over the green color. But in case of pod color, the green is actually dominating over the yellow color. So these are the things for the pea plant. Okay, next let's move towards the inheritance of one gene. The topic is Inheritance of one gene. So, okay. So, let us complete the monohybrid cross, the two laws of inheritance, which was based on the inheritance of one gene. And we'll be talking about the test cross. After that, we'll be practicing one question. Okay. So, we'll be practicing some questions. First of all, what is inheritance of one gene? Inheritance of one gene means one contrasting traits is considered. One contrasting traits is considered. That means either the seed shape is considered, flower color, pod shape, pod color, flower position, or stem height. So any of these can be selected. That type of cross is called as the inheritance of one gene. What is inheritance of one gene? It is called as a monohybrid cross. Very important. What is a monohybrid cross? Monohybrid cross is a one in which the one contrasting traits is being studied. So for this in your syllabus, we have selected the tall and the drop plant. Okay, so tall and the drop are the two contrasting traits. The tall has been represented by the capital T, capital T. So these are the parents. Okay, we are going to cross them out. And the drop has been, denoted as the small t. You should never ever mark it as a capital small d. Okay, no, this is not at all the correct way to express the drop traits. You should always express the drop as small t, and the tall plants as a capital T and capital T. Okay, so let us, understand few terms before going further. What is a genotype of the character? Genotype means the genetic makeup. Genetic makeup of an organism is called as the genotype, and phenotype is called as the physical character. Physical traits that is shown, by an individual, by an organism, or by an individual, it is called as a phenotype. So I hope that this is clear. What is a genotype? What is a phenotype? And what is the allele? That means these two are the alleles. So if this is a gene for the tall traits, this is the first allele and this is the second allele. So for one gene to be expressed, there are two alleles, two factors that is needed to be considered. Okay, next thing that you should know, what is a filial generation? Okay, what is a filial generation? Filial generation means the offsprings that is observed. So in the Punnett square, we'll be talking about the two filial generations. These are typically the F1 generation that is resulted from the crossing of parents, and we observe the F2 generation that is observed when we cross this F1 generation. So F1 filial or F1 filial generation or the F1 is the same thing, or F2 generation or the filial 2 generation is the same thing. Next thing that you should know, what is a Punnett square? So Punnett square is actually a mathematical representation. So if we talk about the Punnett square, this is actually a mathematical representation of expressing the genes. So mathematical expression in which we can cross the plants and we can get the genotype and phenotype respectively. So mathematical expression to obtain the genotype and the phenotype. So genotype you can't see with your naked eyes. The phenotype is the one that is going to express itself. So phenotype we see, and from the phenotype we, generally make the things clear. Okay. So the next thing that we are going to do is the crossing of the first thing, that is our monohybrid cross. So monohybrid cross is done between the tall plant and the dwarf plant by the Mendel. So this was the first cross that he studied. Okay, let us check it out that how we need to draw. You just need to draw this small square, small box, and you just need to draw one line vertical and one line horizontal, because we need to study only one trait. Okay, so let us just write this capital T on the one side. So first plant, this is the first parent. So let us just mark it as a male parent. This is called as a male. And let us suppose that this is a female parent, female P parent. and this is a female P parent. So this character, that means the tall, is represented on the left hand on the horizontal line, and the other trait will be represented in the vertical line. Okay, what you need to do is you just need to cross multiply it. So capital T into small t, you need to multiply it. What it will result in? Capital T and small t. So let us just write this by crossing this and this P plant. What will we get? This is called capital T small t. Again, this capital T with small t is capital T and small t. Again, with this capital T and this small t is going to form capital T small t. And this capital T small t is going to form the capital T small t. So I hope that something is clear to you, that this capital T small t is going to give us all the tall plants. So all the tall plants are grown by crossing this tall with that of drop. So when we are crossing the tall and drop, in the F1 generation, we are getting all the tall plants. Very important. So this is our F1 generation. Let us now self-cross this F1 generation. So what is the meaning of self-crossing? That means we are crossing capital T small t into capital T small t. Let us draw the Punnett square again. Okay. So same thing that you need to follow, capital T and small t, one trait on the left side and one trait on the horizontal line, one trait on the vertical line. So capital T small t on this horizontal line, and this capital T small t, let's say this is the second parent, capital T small t. Now you just need to cross it out. Capital T capital T is capital T. Capital T small t is capital T small t. Capital T small t is capital T to small t. And this is a small t and small t. Very, very important. So let us now, write it as the phenotypic ratio. This question usually asked. And let us write this down, the genotypic ratio. Okay. So I hope that these are clear to you. So this capital T is tall. Capital T small t is also tall. Capital T small t is tall and capital T small t is a dwarf plant. Okay. So let us write it down that what are the phenotypic ratio? Phenotypic ratio is 3:1. And if we talk about the genotypic ratio, it is 1:2:1. How? This 1 is represented as all tall. All tall means it is homozygous tall. Capital T small, capital T, capital T. I'll tell you what is homozygous, what is heterozygous. This 2 is tall, but it is heterozygous. Capital T small t. Can you observe? This capital T small t and this capital T small t, these are both, the heterozygous condition. And the last one is also the dwarf plant. It is only one in number. That is the last one. So this is small t small t. Very important. This is the ratio of F2 generation when we do a self-crossing for the F1 generation. So this is the thing that we observed. Okay, let us now understand what is a homozygous condition and what is a heterozygous condition. Let us look at what is homozygous and what is heterozygous. Okay, so homozygous means when both the alleles, that means this capital T, these are the alleles, both the alleles are similar to each other. Both the alleles are similar. That is called as the homozygous condition. If both the conditions are dissimilar to each other, that means both the alleles are dissimilar to each other, these are called as a heterozygous condition. So let us now look at an example. So capital T are homozygous. Small t are homozygous in this tall and the dwarf thing that we have done. And heterozygous means capital T and small t. So this is a heterozygous condition. Why? Because this has been, dissimilar to each other. Both the alleles, one is capital and what is small. Okay. Now, have you seen that in the F1 generation, only one trait is expressed? That is, only the tall thing is expressed and the dwarf thing was, covered it up. So this has been covered up in the F1 generation by the tall thing. So that means this tall trait is dominating over this recessive trait. So the one that is dominating it is called as, that is expressed in the F1 generation, it is called as the dominating trait, and the one that is expressed in the F2 generation, it is called as a recessive trait. Very important. You should know what is a dominant trait, what is a recessive trait. So dominant is the one that is being expressed in the F1 generation. The recessive is the one that is being expressed in the F2 generation. You can see in the F2 generation, the dwarf plants can be seen when these are in the homozygous condition. Another concept that you should know about the recessive is it is always expressed in the homozygous condition. So let us take the new page. So if we talk about the recessive traits to be expressed, always expressed, okay, always expressed in homozygous condition, that means both the alleles should be present. And if we talk about the dominating trait, dominant trait can be expressed in two conditions. What are those? Can be expressed in the homozygous condition, can be expressed in the heterozygous condition. That means can be expressed when capital T is present, can be expressed when capital T small t is present. So that is the meaning of homozygous and that is the meaning of heterozygous. So these are the things that you should know. Okay, after doing this cross, let us understand that what is a test cross, and then we'll be, talking about the questions. So the next thing that we should know is the test cross. What is a test cross? We know that the recessive trait is always expressed when it is a homozygous condition. Okay, so that is small t and small t. That is a dwarf plant in this case. Okay, how will we determine that the plant is the homozygous or it is a heterozygous if it is a dominating condition? So to determine the genotype of that plant, we will do the test cross. So how we will do the test cross? We will take the recessive trait on the upper side. That is, we'll take the another example. That is the violet flowers and the white flowers. I hope that you should know that the violet are dominating over the white flowers in the pea plant. So violet and the white. The violet is represented by capital W, capital W. The white is expressed in the small things. So let me just cover this up so that you should know that when I'm writing it in a cursive way, it is a recessive trait. So this is the recessive trait. This is also the recessive trait. And this is the homozygous condition and this is our heterozygous condition. So let us draw the Punnett square. These alleles will be separated out and these are going to form the, let me just write it like this. So this was capital W, and if we will separate these traits, it will be small w and small w. Let us draw this as well. So the Punnett square that is being drawn over here is like this. Okay, so this is like a capital W, small w and the small w. So let us just see that what are the things that is being obtained. In this, we obtain capital W, small w, capital W, small w, capital W. This is capital W, not the small one. And the small w, the capital W and the small w. So can you see we are capital and the small? That means all the violet flowers are obtained. All violet are there. That means this parent, this dominating trait is in the homozygous condition. So this is again the important question that usually asked. Next, we will talk about the second cross. That is the capital W, small w, and the small w. Let us just check it out that what are the things that is being obtained. So this is the capital W, small w, capital W, small w, small w, and the small w, small w. So Half of the planets are violet in color, and half the flowers are in white color. So half of them are in the white color. So that means this parent is in the heterozygous condition. So this is how in the F1 generation we can observe that the parent is in the homozygous condition or in the heterozygous condition. So these are the ways through which we will check it out, that through which it is going to express. So this is the homozygous condition and this is a heterozygous condition, because in this half of the parents are violet in color, the capital W, small w, and half of the flowers are small w, and small w, small w. That means the recessive traits need to be expressed in the homozygous condition in order to express itself. So this is called as the test cross. So I hope that these are the things that is clear to you. Now let us discuss that what are important questions that is asked up to these topics. So the important questions that we will discuss right now are, okay, so the first thing that we will ask you is why pea plant selected for the study of inheritance? Why pea plant is selected for the study of inheritance? Okay, you need to give all the points. Okay, they can ask you in the MCQ way, or they can ask you one word question regarding which trait is the dominating trait and which trait is the recessive trait. So contrasting traits you should know by heart. Next thing that you should know is who is the father of inheritance. So who is the father of inheritance? The Georgian Mendel is considered as the laws of is a father of inheritance, because he has done so much hard work in his life to give us the laws of inheritance that we are able to study right now. Okay, these are the three questions. What next can be asked is, what is a monohybrid cross? So you just need to define it. What is a monohybrid cross, first of all, and explain. So if it is a 3 marks question, you just need to define what is a monohybrid cross, and then you need to explain with the help of this capital T, small t, or you can just take this wallet class, capital W, and the small w. So you will just, how you will do this, attempt this question, you will define this monohybrid cross first of all. Second thing that you will do is you will just make the Punnett square and make the F1 generation, and then you will make the F2 generation. In F1 and F2 generation, you just also need to mention what is the phenotype of this F1, what is the genotype of this F1 generation. Along with that, in the F2 generation, you should know what is the phenotype of this F2 generation and what is the genotype of this generation. So these are the markings that is really, really important in defining the monohybrid cross. You should tell them in F1 only one parent is expressed, that is a dominating trait. Okay, if this question comes in 5 marks, you also need to express what is dominant factor and what is the recessive factor. Along with that, you should also explain what is the genotype and phenotype. And along with that, you should express what is a homozygous trait in this case, in the troll and drop, and what is a heterozygous. So all the things that we have covered up till now, you just need to express it in the 5 marks question. If it comes in 3 to 4 marks, you just need to make a Punnett square and then draw what is phenotype and what is genotype. So I think that up to this point, you are clear with what is inheritance, what are the, who gave this inheritance, why pea plant selected, and what is a monohybrid cross. So let us just look at once and then we'll end this session. So this is principle of inheritance, okay? And this is a pea plant, why it is selected, what is the inheritance of one gene, what is a monohybrid cross, what is a monohybrid cross, how it is done, how it is performed, and what is a dominant and recessive trait, what is a homozygous and heterozygous condition, what is a test cross. So again, this is really important. Usually the examiner will ask you what is a test cross. So students usually, mention what is monohybrid, but they don't put a focus on this test cross. You should know what is a test cross by heart. Any example you can take an example of tall and drop. You can take the example of violet and the white flowers. So an example can be taken from that 7 contrasting traits. And after that, we have this important question. So I hope that you like this video. So that's it. Thank you.